Nebula NGC 246, also known as the Skull Nebula, is located within the tail end of the constellation Cetus. It is a planetary nebula, meaning that it formed whenever a small sun-like star grew and expelled its outer atmosphere and condensed its core into a small white dwarf. The nebula surrounds the dying white dwarf, known as HIP 3678, which shed its outer atmosphere to create the nebula. It can be seen as the fainter of the two stars in the binary star system in the center of the nebula. Nebula NGC 246 is fairly large for a planetary nebula, but is small on the scale of most nebulas. It is 2.5 light-years in diameter. It is still expanding as the gases in NGC 246 expand and interact with the interstellar medium. The matter and gases in the nebula appear to be moving towards the upper leading edge of the nebula because this region of the nebula is much denser. It also has a blue outer ring of braided structures, which is believed to be created by shock waves and high-velocity gases. There are several bright stars that appear to be in the nebula, but most of these are actually behind the nebula, shining through the gases of the nebula rather than interacting with the nebula itself. The star in the center, HIP 3678, is interesting because it's been increasing in brightness. In the 1930s, it had a brightness of the 9th magnitude. Today, it has a brightness of the 12th magnitude. The nebula itself is very dim and has a brightness of the 11th magnitude. Although visible by telescope, it's one of the hardest nebulas to find because of its 11th magnitude brightness. It was discovered by William Herschel in 1785, and in conclusion is 1,600 light-years away.